Fia ni din ene onimonyamfo aban babin ede atudwa na etiefo beka ahye ne nso a anano ene ebeto odwa se okokopie mu ewo adan ene ne mpatemu adwumaku bi ba ho from se electrochem adan salt omu ede beto odwa se ohwe eye oman konkono Ghana mu a kamiakọ se onyankopon adom ye abo adom ahodo pebre anase eye agudie ahodo bebre ti se eye gold bauxite ne ade timber no nyina ewo my Ghana mu na ba ko ase Ghana fo mpanyimfo ehwe no momomani etimi akọ ho a ede sibre ebetimi ede abreye ba akopa eye enchene na okokopie mu a adan ne mpatamu de eye kro anase ebia ahodo a yetu enchene ahodo enyina ewo honom na eno ena beto odwa se adwumakoi ba yeso mpeso betu nchene wo honom no kromo anase timemufo honma nke wose enka wo won akwanya na nka otimi eye adwuma ewo ye adwumakuo no mu no weyi won ede afiri mu na no na mpanyimfo de kokodan eye mrahye bedwafie se wonhwe na wonka bi emfama omo ewo asem no ho na wo bra bedwakuo a mpanyimfo pa won so onkoye nhwehwemu emfamra no eno no koye nhwehwemu no nyina de bebeto mpanyimfo animu no na no na abamba bendi atodwa se da bi nhwehwemu no moye no enya de se etimi koye nti wonko na onsan emre bi mo bra abamba ben ede ne nsam atudwa no sei ena ochiremu efae yeguso a yehwese yebebo ene no ama etiefo ensoso etimi atibi ensemo a yewura abamba ben enso ebo modern ensoso etimi ede etu edwa
stakeholder consultation, specifically unacknowledged papers on the matter, and as such, these were not reflected in the report. Inadequate redress to some issues, such as the area of land available to Electrochem Ghana Limited, since a large part of the concession has been incumbent. Again, the issues that the people keep on raising dealing with unemployment were still not well addressed in the recommendation. The validity of the additional lease agreements for Adan West and East, covering a total of 140 acres, has to be looked into. The application and relevance of PNDC Law 287 and its implications for Electrochem Ghana Limited leases and future operations in the lagoon by the investor. We have to look at it. The issue of compensation for affected parties, that is an outstanding issue that has not been well addressed. And so there is a need for further engagement with stakeholders in this matter.
Enwache ana eye opeyina okopiemu ewo mrahye bedwafie a ono ne edom dodo no ba no dini chief whip Yewura Frank ano dompre na afei eye odimonyamfo a woginamu de ma adehye omowo eye asomase abato mpasua so odimonyamfo Muntaka Muhammad eso so ede nani nano etumu bi echiremu se report na committee no ede ba ye na de ohwemu a eye ade se ne kwan so a eno no
to let them appreciate that the salt that they've seen there, because of what all of us have agreed as a country, is no longer as if the salt is their personal property. The salt now belongs to all of us as a country. That is why you have Obuasi Gold Mine, you have Yineyini Bauxite, you have other deposits in Kenya and other areas. If people in those areas all rise up and say that no, this gold that you find here, because it is Obuasi, it is only for Asantehene, will be finished as a country. And we pleaded with them. Every single concern, Mr. Speaker, that they raised, checked into the report. I'm worried that a lot of people do not read the report in full.
And we must navigate within the provisions of our constitution. That one is so basic that it's not debatable. Speaker, the last time the Honorable Atacha presented a report, for the past 2 months, personally, I have been to Songo, and I've been investigating this said company. Facts, is the biggest salt investment in the whole of West Africa. It's the biggest. Now, and that this investor is one of our own. Apart from that, he also hails from Songo, that vicinity. That is where he comes from. Speaker, many big investors have been to this place and they've abandoned the place. They couldn't succeed. They left.
Enya yekotie ye dondodo no ba no dini yewura Frank ano dompre na no akire no na eye opanyina wono soso eye mrahye bedwane de ma adehye wo ododododo abato mpasua so eye onimonyamfo ni Lante Vanderpoy ezo so ekasa editia reporter empanyimfo yi ede bae.
The international human rights community even talks about the protection of indigenous people in circumstances as this. Indigenous people have rights, they have freedom, and such freedoms and rights cannot just be trampled upon in the name of investment. The people of Adan, the chiefs and people of Adan appreciate the investment that is coming to the Songo area. We are not against a lotrocam. The people of Adan are not against the investment, but a ratification of an investment like this that do not take into consideration the protection of livelihoods, heritage sites, and also the indigenous people cannot be said to be in the interest of the people. We don't have any problem with Parliament ratifying it, but Parliament cannot ratify an agreement which goes and plays against the interest of the indigenous people and their livelihoods. Electrochem is abusing human rights, violating the freedoms of people, and also pushing beyond the limit. Mr. Speaker, we sitting here, excuse my language, we are not more intelligent than the technical committee that was put in place by the Rawlings regime, by the Kufuor regime, by the Atanos regime.
Eni ekotie eye mrahye bedwane ojemu ma adehye wo dodododo abato mpasua so ni Lante Vanderpoy.
Yetwa ensem no so ede yamamo. Ghana man panyini na na adodanko Akufuado edisi dani so retire so se ekon a yedi tia galamse efoma gudi a yetu a yentu no kwampa so obehwe na wode ne nasi form de nhyehyɛ pagua kwa mu nanka wakoatia nanso wantumi amfa kɔtɔ anyankwan ama mprempren yensuwa ene yensase na ahyase a SSA enu nti eye Tamale South mrahye bedwane Honorable Haruna Idrisu de atudwa se nanka mampanyini na na dodanko Akufuado ewo se wode ne dibre to ho sabre ena afi nso so okasa kire mu se ewo se mrahye bedwafie ho no omo ye nhyehyɛ nanka mampanyini obutu na de so o kire mu se.
We also must accept that as of today the responsibility over the resources management of our natural resources is vested in President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. He is a monumental failure when it comes to the fight against galamsey. Let's admit it, let's let him appreciate that he has failed, and then as a country, is gold a curse? Should gold be a curse? Should this mineral resource be a curse? Certainly not. God gifted us for us to take advantage of it for enhanced social and economic development of our country. We've depended on it since the 15th century. But listening to Prof, it reminds me that our strategies have simply failed. Whatever interventions, it has not worked, whether it's military intervention, it's burning of excavators, it's ministers. Arguably, with the very first point you made, Ring, one should be filing a motion of censure and impeachment against the President of the Republic for failing to fight galamsey, with its consequential impact on our forest and water resources and its denial of quality livelihood of the citizens of Ghana.
Eni ayeti ye Honorable Haruna Idrisu oye Tamale South mrahye bedwane na wa mananso ho a na okasa kire mu se eye mrahye bedwano omadi Ghana fo hwamo papa esanse wona sade a wose nkomo ye no omantumi anye eno nso o kire mu sei.
To some extent you are very right. The Parliament of Ghana have failed Ghanaians in many respects in the exercise of our oversight, in particular over the management of our mineral and forest resources. I can agree more with Professor that the continuous destruction of the natural environment of Ghana, which impacts on our forests and water resources, must be halted. And it only can be halted through what he has described as a national emergency. and elevating the failures of our fight against illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, to the highest priority action of government.
Any ayeti ye Tamale South Mrashe Bedwani Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Yeto kase bono so na nkoko pie mu atifido mantemu na okopie atifido mantemu ewo ye MPP wo so no amanyokuo no mu a eho na opanyina wono na ejina mu wo ho edema wo mo se regional chairman ni din ene chief Bugri na abu na papai akasa na ne nkasa yemu no na wo chire mu se eye ensem bia opanyina wono susu di akotene wo MPP amanyokuo no mu ani din ene eye yewura nana ohene into ede betu dwa ede fa ne ho no yade se no krensem bia ni ho ewo mu na ne nyina ne se na ohene into de betu dwa se kama kwakoye se yewura Bugri na abu enya no asebe obeje ne kra ede afri ne nsem amana to nanom ewo ensie do a ensem ebetu dwa Ghana fododo no na kasa de fa ho no titiriu ene NPP amanyoko no emu na eno na opanyini ede aba betu dwa chire mu se ensem a yewura yi eka ye no enya de se no krensem bia ewo mu obra won ensem trofo edwetwe nkomo ena wode etudwa wo chem se nya de se wone yewura ohene to wone problem bia omo entem ego papa mprempi ni abrano no ehomu kura wotimi ne no edi nkomo bon nkomo ne adade na we de ekoba ne se ye nei ababetodwa ewo Ghana fo animu a omo chirim se wunyano a obeje ne nkwa ede afri ne nsem na eno na Bugri na abudi atodwa se Ghana fo montomo adwenem na munyim adwene kura emfa emfri so se wono enya na ohene ento a obeku no enya de se no kra ensem bia ewo sa nsem wono no ababetodwa Ghana fo do no ede ka ho asem no na ni nyina mu no no wode ne nsem obawiye na wo chiremu ese wobra na ye na na danko akufuado epre se wono babeye kandini ede ama NPP amanyoko no na omoto omanim ehwebo nkum ne nifa wono na ese fata se omo eto abade ma no ma ne di amanyoko no animu wode wono edoto yewura ye Kennedy akompre ko Japan ho a na je se wohwemu a na yade se na danko akufuado na edikan ewo emu.
Yes, there was argument in the National Council meeting. And some of us saw that the way they were dragging the party, especially Onido and others, they were sending it to NDC. But that everything they were doing were showing that to send it to NDC. So we told them point blank in their faces, but I didn't point my finger on them or my hand on them, that what you are doing is very bad. We don't want that to have our president to stand firm. We want to align us with NDC. Some of us say no, it won't happen. Yes, there was argument where he talked the talk, but he has already shown the demonstration in the sense that where you see now, it's really suffer to build a party. And just because you are candidate, you prefer him to win presidential candidate, not now you go and form a party.
Eni ayekotie ye NPP titina ne awugina mu ewo eye etifido mantemu chief Bugri na abu.
Ejoso Mrashe Bedwani lawyer Kwabena Boaten enura obafia ha ene Ishmael Boaten ebetwetwe nkobo Ghana kasa so. Ena o chiremu se ono de no oba be Mrashe Bedwani no nanka na nisu ade hunu nyina ne se mabunu nyuma obebie nyuma ede ama mabunu ewo edwoso aye nanso ni hunu mu ne sua hunu wo hunu ye wo bra one amanfo di nkomo no ohunu se akwan eni hia amanfo akwan a wo se wo ma amanfo ene ye amanfo akoma so ade enu nti no mprempren a ye kasa yi wa hya ase a obiebia akwan a wo ye wo ho nya agro o kasa kire mu se wo hwe akwan a wo ye wo edwoso mpatamu ho no mo a ye aduana num ekopem aduana miensa ena o ye wo edwoso mantamu ho o kire mu kasa ya nanso ene no ha yenti bi
na miame wo nieme bia na wo mitrimu a na me se me de ba besom edwoso man na mo me bon to ano so mete nkomo foforo na as a leader bibie ni wa wo besusu se ehia o manfo no chen de wo mu aka kire wo me nam no na misusu se mi hunu no mabunu adwuma na ehia pa ba ko a me bontoa ebeka ho kese eni akwan kine wo se utie akwan edwuso akwan ne mi no tie yi akoko amo akwan mani abre den efiri independence yenye da enti mani abre ameko ho meetings ahodo akoko amo akwan asaman edwuso asaman akwan many abraham den because ye the bomb so human for no nti wo se wo so ehia wo nti saa biaye miemi akwan meda menna besiasi jamasi kele bi kwan aso forge wo mo kwan timiebu forge wo mo kwan you know, and these are things that we call rounder or manfo no ebe catch the wo
lawyer Kwabena Boateng amana nso hɔ a na wɔkasa kyerɛ mu sɛ ogusua ne mpanimfo di nkɔmmɔ isan sɛ mrahye bedwafoɔ no dodoɔ na wɔn ba fie asɛbe ɛyɛ na abrabɔ no etia wɔn kakra ɛnu nti no wɔn ne mpanimfoɔ ɛde nhyehyɛ egu akwa mu a wɔn bɛyɛ nsiɛnkyi baa ɛde ama mrahye bedwafoɔ na wɔn kɔ wɔn ahomegye mu a wɔn anya mɔbɔ ɛnu nso kyerɛ mu sɛ
onye obi okɔ ya wonya minister bi edi ye ne ade na ɔka sɛ wo yi MP member of parliament we na adwuma sɛ member of parliament without executive position bia no a osum na chiri ya na din ma brabo no because ebro mo wosum no nyina no kakra e ba ne nsɛm nyina ekɔ momanfo hɔ ton butumu anekɔ ye ne ekɔ ye nche yi kura no kakra e fa ye ni so no ye hunu sɛ de sitie nti nyame amwe nipa no a okowie na adwuma yo no a amasitere na ayedin all these things house committee no we see it me advice ni hu say ne say pension scheme bi ne ye di ama MP so say DU see a discuss it
ne kurakura mu no na lawyer Kwabena Boateng kasa kyerɛ mu sɛ ɛde to Ghana for so animu sɛ MPP amanyokuo no ne Ghana for de no yie pa no nti no 7 December abatoɔ no duro so a mamowura mfi sɛ mobeto aba no de ama Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia ne Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe ene ono lawyer Kwabena Boateng eno nso okasa kyerɛ bu sei
so wa hwe ye na so okɔ akoyi ba akopɛ bi no a NCC ne na so yie no na ade afra ne nyina ye beye mistake Ghana for me srem ye sinienti yie ya hwe ye ne yesi ye hwe ya ho kyerɛ ane yesi kasɛm no ba ko bi ntoto sɛ de ne ye pɛ no na ye de asɛn kateɛ no nyina de bi ye de nsa bɛhye num aka ye nsa wo ebi asi pen wo bempa bi a mempɛs me boni di wo bempa no pen so kane akura wantimi anso bi ama emi nua na wa ho sata na so generator ansa na betena konso ye ni mu enso nei kane anu fie sei ni enso 7 more than 7.5 years kane anu da so gina so a ye kuro na se nipa no nei so se ye nsa nkonkoto aba ma no a na kane anu agina so a na nka na wotwe edumu anka no a no ti mesre Ghana fo bebie ni daso wo no eye MPP amanyukuo si ni hɔ a yaka no eye sum eye oyone me ma me no mu a mo ye nam adwuma mo nkai bre bia na mo nam na mo yi begu abonten na pro na bon mo nkai enua no mo yi tire bre bia na mo nya kan ya gise mo koto petru di begu ayi mu enei ya na ese edipaso kakra ya aba yen kai ye hu biewu yen kai ye hu biewu na yensre se NPP ewa bemu na Ghana itimi koye ni mu yie na omuntu aba no fama Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ene Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe na omunfa yen koye ni
ejuso mrahye bedwani lawyer Kwabena Boateng ne yete ne nkan
yanto aso wa MPP amanyokuo no mu na opanyini baako a wono eye ochechireni ewo eye Central University wono no echire amamuo eho ensem Dr. Benjamin Ochiri Ankra ena dia baba tudwara wosre eye MPP wosono amanyoko no makandifo ne mumpanyimfo nyina se epraso se opanyini baako ne din ene eye yawo adomako bafi wose mpanyimfo etwa omani no mode hwe ne yie pa ne nchiremu no ochira kama akwese papa yi be se nansemu ni no ade se ne ho dodo no pa wose mpanyimfo te wani hwe no pa ya sabe papa bi de ne kɔ na apomu ne na apomu timisi ne ho so yie pa wo bra yewura Dr. Benjamin Ochiri kasa no otonensa the frɛ ɛyɛ party no wɔ national chairman yewura Stephen Intim ɛne ɛyɛ party mpanyimfo ne akandefo wo nyinaa sɛ mprempremprempre ya was of Bomoden and Tempaso Nebasa Harrisono, or Chawani, Nafi, what they heard opinion, said the Bay opinion, so Napumudi Moon, some a bit to me, Ejinan and Naso.
Emma Ubi Manaso, National Chairman, and now National Council in Muninko Yao Adamu Befi, Prodono on the yes, as I say, a time not in a cover be near Kosani Yari. May come with a passion because me say, na in that one room, Nina di pain, Menina Tonsa, not once, not twice, Menina Nanti, na near only money MPP, nothing else. Na cause of his dedication, ya Aduma Kumbefi, Edumia be 99 ya. Na ordinary nice form called radio station, Kokasama MPP, na ene Uhiamwa, Moma Yanko Yanamwa, na Sebi, Empani Ebu Bese, Misai, yare de betumi ato bia kakra metumi aka men kan kwachi moma yenkoye no moa na yemua nipa wa bra otiase
Eni aye kotie eye opanyina wono so edi akotene ewo eye MPP amanwoko no mu Dr. Benjamin ono ene de sansem we enso editu dwa waso guso awuti anopa no nsia kase bo yemfa se de PSA emfama JB Bako Enterprise akwakofa 3D wallpaper ne glue designs ahodo nyina wo pebia no benya bi wo ho sanso ena wall ene ceiling stickers nyina no benya bi ba ko bia esa afrafranto efe pa de bobo wo dan ho a dum kania no a na asoso ewo isumunumu efe kono ko pebito wo mora ewo ho di free Germany curtain blinds ahodo colors ahodo na afi wo de pillow e de aba wo de comforter de aba wo de bed